What's up guys, my name is JDCook5 and welcome back to another F1 episode of my team. We have got our home GP now, so we are in the Silverstone circuit that we're going to be racing around. Before we get into that, we've got some money to spend. We are able to do a few upgrades in terms of, so we're going to look for aerodynamics, and this will occasionally make quality control a little bit better when doing the parts. Looking at what we can upgrade also, we do some chassis upgrades, and then we get straight into things. So we're going to be doing some practice rounds like we do also every kind of round in that way. We do our setup and then we are able to get away with practice. It's always important doing the setup because every track is different and the car reacts differently on every single circuit. We're doing the qualifying one where we are able to see what we will be like, the simulation of what we should do in qualifying. So it'll be interesting to see where it thinks we'll be finishing this time round in qualifying. A really strong circuit of mine, and honestly I really enjoy it. There's a lot of fast points to the track. There's tight corners as well, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it flows really well, and it's just something that I've come accustomed to over the years with playing the other F1 games also, and I've always found it really good to drive on it also. Just at near the end of this lap, as you can see, where you get the DRS points just before there. With that being said, there is actually many zones because of how many straights there are on this circuit. So I think there's about 3 DRS zones on this circuit. Purple sector on purple, I think that would be sector 3 actually, as we go down the hill. The old army airfield as the circuit lies on, it's actually mad really where it actually used to be and what it used to be. As we go back down the hill into the final few corners, and we're going to be completing this qualifying lap, so it is 600 a second on the delta, so we have obviously got in a decent position. Where that is I'm not too sure, and it reckons we're going to qualify 5th, so that's interesting to see. We actually do top it only because there was rain later on in the session, and a lot of people had, when they did go out, only could use intermediates. So realistically, still a good practice session, but we are now anticipating and waiting to see if we are able to go into this qualifying session with some momentum and hopefully just be at the top end of the circuit. As we prepare ourselves, we are now going to be going over the line and completing the first qualifying lap and seeing where we are at. A free truck, to be honest. I think a few have gone out, not many, as we look to now try and beat as many times as possible and cement a decent place in tomorrow's race. As we now hit the, before we get onto the straight, there's a final kind of few chicanes, and then you're going to be seeing, you're going round, as you say, you get the pace coming from here more than anything, no braking or anything, full throttle. And then once you go into this DRS zone, as I was saying, there's many fast points of the circuit, so yeah, it's really interesting to see how much pace you can get down these straights and corners. Really kind of, you don't have to do it too hard on the brakes going through this corner, but then you do slow it up as then you take on another straight before then we go right round once again, no braking or anything, full throttle. And to be honest, even at the top here, it is quite free flowing if you hit it at the right angles. Not too much braking required, and still hard on the throttle as we're fighting with the car with the steering wheel shaking there, as you can see on screen. Once again, we're going through, I think this is the Lesmo section of the track, and I think, oh no, Maggots and Beckett, sorry. And then we go down the hill, and then this is then another DRS sector under that Pirelli sign as we go down the hill, and then we're near to the end of this qualifying lap. Not too sure where we're at in all honesty, because this is the first lap, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of marker we're going to be laying. If maybe actually we could be having the best lap, you just never know. I feel like sometimes your first lap is your better lap out of them all. I feel like with the ERS as well, I think that helps a lot. P6, that put me in, so I think I went up to P4 and then I went into P6. I didn't really do many qualifying laps, couldn't get any more pace than what my first lap was in all honesty, so I stuck with the lap time that I've got, 128.558, and we are 500 of a second off Lewis Hamilton, so it'll be interesting to see what the fight will be coming round in this circuit.
Welcome everyone as you join us at a former Second World War aircraft base, now converted into one of the great motor racing tracks. Britain is one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every year of the Formula One World Championship, and long may that continue. This is Silverstone, and this is the British Grand Prix. The race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Leclerc, Verstappen, Cook, Sainz, Norris, Stroll, Albon, Bottas, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Ocon, Joe, Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Sargent, Liam Lawson, and Nick de Vries. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
So here we go then, we've got the 5 lights on the screen, we are waiting for them to go out, maximum revs, overtake on, and lights out, and away we go. Really good start, really good start, just passing Leclerc as you can see as we first hit the first corner of the Silverstone Grand Prix, and we are battling it out with Sergio Perez, and we have made a move, and we are wheel to wheel in that corner, but we are through, and we're in P3 as the crowds cheer. We have got 3 Brits at the moment, Hamilton, George Russell, and myself making up the 3rd place as of the moment. Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc and Verstappen right behind me though, so we're going to have a battle on our hands, and we're going to be competing against some really strong drivers. Really late into that corner, and Perez makes up some time from doing so. As you can see on my rear view mirror, he is right behind me, but we're going to get a nice exit out of this corner. But to be honest though, you can see George Russell and Lewis Hamilton making a gap already, so I think they're going to be having the race between themselves as we try and battle Sergio Perez. A long straight here, we got no DRS yet as it is the first lap, so we're going to be worrying about that. When he does get DRS also, I think he will make a pass. As you can see in my rear view mirror, he is still there, he's still trying to think of making a move. He thought about going on the left on the inside of me, but it's not to be, and we're going to go over the checkered line for the first lap, hoping that we're going to be sticking with the P3. Fastest lap going to Lewis Hamilton, of course, as he is the first one to cross the line, as Perez is now trying to make a move on the outside, and away he goes nearly, but we do actually go and get in front of him. Very lucky, I think he bottles out of the move, but we still have him right behind us. Charles Leclerc, we can see Max Verstappen there also, so we can still see a lot of drivers. And not being funny, once we do complete lap 2 of 18, we're going to be looking at the DRS zones now and wondering when they're going to make the time up. Leclerc and Perez battling between themselves as we try and gain a bit of time while they're having it out. It's always easier to have it where drivers are battling against each other and I've got my free space. Always feel like you're able to make up more time as the Grand Prix goes on, as we go down the hill to complete lap 2 of 18, and we are looking good in all honesty with keeping Sergio Perez within a distance, nearly messing up on that corner. Very lucky, very lucky to not spin out, as now DRS is enabled, but Sergio Perez is going to look at a move straight away, and he is through. Wow, that is again the same similar to move to a previous lap, but he nearly looked like he was through in all honesty. He is going to be testing us on the DRS zone. As you can see, he's right behind us at the moment, wide into that corner, allowing as much space as possible for Sergio Perez to make a move, but he doesn't. And let's see what the gap is going to be though. So Charles Leclerc's going to have DRS also, so they're both going to be kind of fast on themselves, but we're still keeping a decent gap between us. He is going to get DRS as we go late over that chicane there. As you can see, they made up the time from that mistake, 200 of a second. He's going to look to make a move as he's got the DRS on this straight. Lap 3 of 18, and this might be the first overtake past us, and Sergio Perez is pretty much through, and we have to tuck in behind him, and he is through on us in lap 3 of 18. Really good pass in all honesty. I messed up on that corner, and he allowed himself the space, and he had the DRS, and through Sergio Perez goes. We are in P4 as we cross the line to complete lap 4 of 18. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen now behind us, As you can see, they're pretty much will to will as they go into that corner. Max Verstappen getting the better of Leclerc as we look to now try and gain a bit of time on Sergio Perez and hopefully gain that P3 position right back. Really sloppy into that corner as we have to go early onto the brakes as we missed the previous one. The car drifting out. I'm not being able to kind of gain as much time as I would like, and it looks to be that we're not going to get DRS on this particular bit, so we have to use our overtake because that corner's really messed us up. Really inconsistent in terms of what we've been doing and then the corners, and it doesn't seem to be that we're piecing it together as Sergio Perez goes past. As you say, Verstappen now 900th of a second behind Leclerc 1.2, so there's a decent gap behind us, so we are kind of on the battle with Sergio Perez as we now have 300 second, 200 second, so we are fast through this sector. I think they're better through this other bit though. I do believe that they are quicker. I feel like they're later on the brakes, and I feel like I have to push the brake more in all honesty. As you can see then, Sergio Perez makes a decent gap. I can't go as fast as the car is, I'm literally battling with it to be able to maintain it through these corners. We're going to get DRS on this sector just as we look to now try and gain back on Sergio Perez to say the wing is open on the back, so we have gained some time by doing so. We're getting that DRS luckily, otherwise Sergio Perez might just be making more of a gap than what we would like. Coming to the end of lap 4 of 18, going on to lap 5, so the laps are commencing really quickly in all honesty, and we don't want this Grand Prix stepping away from us. I mean, even the position that we're in now would be great, but it would be nice to be able to try and battle for that podium as much as possible. Lap 7 of 18 now, and we are still within the vicinity of Sergio Perez as we are taking our time, just tucking in behind him, getting a DRS when we need to be, and just making sure that he is not gaining any more time on us as the laps go by, hoping that we can gain some more time. A little bit better through that sector, but as you can see again, the AI is so much quicker than what I am, but we have done better through that corners as we now going to get the DRS, and this is going to be the time if we are able to gain any, and we are looking so much stronger, wheel to wheel with Sergio Perez, and through we go. Oh no, yeah, just about. I was going to say, he actually gained a bit of time going on that corner as we were wheel to wheel, but as you can see, he's that little bit more behind me now, and he definitely backed out of that one, allowing me the space. And as we're going to cross the line over lap 7 of 18 now, and that was much better stuff. Pit window open, so we are going to be pitting, hoping that they stay behind us when we do go through that pit window in all honesty, because it'll be nice to have it where we don't have to gain time in front of us. It's more thinking about who is behind us more than anything, as Perez is going to get some time on us now though. There's more than likely he is actually going to get past. He's going to have the DRS. I'm going to have anything using as much overtake as possible. Verstappen is pretty much there also as he follows the line as Perez, but he hasn't got enough speed to actually meet me on that corner as we look to hold the car as we are literally battling with it. He doesn't pit, but Verstappen does, and through the pits we go then. We're going to be opting for the medium compound. So yeah, this is going to be big, what kind of pit stop we have, but also what time Perez makes on this point onwards. So obviously when we pit, we're going to be going out and waiting for Perez to pit, and it's going to be interesting to see if we meet, or are we going to go above as we look to now pit, hoping for the optimal stop as always, as we are going for the medium tyre. Lovely pit stop as well, really nice and fast. We've been really good with our pit crew, looking to upgrade it also to get even faster as we slot in just behind behind Hamilton and in front of Verstappen. We're not in Hamilton's race though whatsoever, in all honesty, nowhere near Lewis Hamilton and the pace that he's got with George Russell. They're going to be battling it out near to the end of this race as we now go into the first few corners on the medium set of tyres, trying to warm them up as much as possible, and we are going to be quicker on them, I hope. Sometimes you find that you are actually quicker on the medium tyre, but we have got a few things to worry about though, because Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc are right behind us. 400th of a second between myself and Verstappen, and Leclerc's gaining some time, 600th of a second, 500th of a second. So they're right behind us, and we do get a collision there as we look to nearly crash out of the home GP. And blimey, Max Verstappen pretty much wiping us out on that point, and we have to battle with the car to make sure that it stays on the track, and hoping that we are still in at this Grand Prix. But yeah, that could have been a really bad end to this home Grand Prix, as Max Verstappen gets really ferocious through that corner in a typical Verstappen way, as we now try and chase Verstappen, and we're in P4 currently. Obviously Perez is yet to pit also, so we might even go down another place into P5. Verstappen gaining a decent bit of time, and he's actually kind of put me out of my rhythm more than anything, as that was really concerning, the move that he actually did make. But we're going to try and stick with him as much as possible to be able to try and get DRS and overtake him in a safer zone compared to what he did recently, as we look to try and gain some time on him. We are going to get the slipstream also, so we are going to be right on him. As I say though, the AI are much quicker through the actual next section of the track, hoping to be able to stick with him and get a bit of DRS. Haven't got any overtake to use either though. My battery is completely drained unfortunately from pretty much using it on the straights, as a really poor set of corners there, and Charles Leclerc, as you can see, is trying to make some time on that. He's going to have DRS behind me. I'm going to get DRS on Verstappen, don't get me wrong, as we actually look to be the better out of the two compared to the Ferrari. We're not going to get Verstappen on this part though, because we are way too behind Verstappen, but we are going to try and gain a bit of time now as we look to try and outbrake him as much as possible. Caution sector 3, so something's happened just behind me, and as you can see actually Charles Leclerc is dropping off, and he has actually been overtaken by Lando Norris and Sergio Perez, and Charles Leclerc, the man from Monaco, is out of the British Grand Prix. Really unfortunate. He was running really well behind me in all honesty, and was actually worried about him, but it's good for me because Norris is 1.6, 1.4 seconds behind me, so I don't actually have to worry too much of what's behind me, more than what's in front of me. As you can see, when he was going down the hill, he was getting slower and slower, and his engine is completely blown with smoke bellowing out of the Ferrari engine. Really unfortunate for Charles Leclerc. As I say, he was running a really good race, and luckily no one actually went into the back of him. As you saw, Carlos Sainz struggled to get past him, so did the others, as he looks to pull to the side on a really tricky part of the track. I mean, Fernando Alonso nearly collided. He's got nowhere to go as he goes onto the grass verge waiting to be picked up, and that is the end. Purple sector 2, so we're looking much better as we try to gain some time on Verstappen. We've got a bit of speed near to the end of corner, wheel to wheel as we go through, having to hold our nerve and making sure no one collides, and we are through on the world champion. Lap 11 of 18 going on to lap 12 of 18, and what an overtake and what a string of events that's happening in front of our eyes. Resume racing. I'm guessing Charles Leclerc is still there as of the moment, but we don't care. Fastest lap 1:30.399. Unbelievable stuff. A really good lap, and we have definitely been fast on this medium set of tyres. I felt that in practice as well, more than anything. I always go better on the mediums for whatever reason. Maybe because they're a bit more consistent in terms of the lap time, and I know where to push them compared to the softs. Verstappen's going to get DRS on us. He's only 300 in a second, so he's definitely going to gain some time on us as he looks to try and go to the other side. But he's not going to be too far ahead of us because he isn't able to outbrake us on that sort of point of the circuit. But he's definitely within a vicinity at any point in time. As you can see at points, his rear view is definitely kind of right on me, and it is crazy to think what this Grand Prix is unfolding. As Verstappen now, as you say, he's taking another look, and he's actually going to try and have a go as we go wheel to wheel, and through Max Verstappen goes. What a strange manoeuvre, but it's worked for Max Verstappen as we look to try and now get past him. We're right on him going through this sector. We're much closer to the AI from what we've previously been. As we look to now go down this straight, we're going to get DRS also, so this is definitely our time to try and overtake, and if we are, we're doing it kind of late on this bit of the track, but we are going to be through. Wheel to wheel we go with Max Verstappen. What battles we are having with the Dutchman as we look to now see if we can get past him. We're going to go on the other side to be able to try and get past also, as we look to try and not collide, but we are literally holding it neck and neck, wheel to wheel, as we look to go over the checkered line pretty much without anything to spare, and we are through. We're into P3 once again. What a battle we are trying to have for this position. We are really trying to cement it for this Grand Prix, as now Sergio Perez is through on Max Verstappen, and he is back in the fold. A strange string of events as Max Verstappen looked to be faster at the two Red Bulls in the second part of this race, but it looks to be now Sergio Perez is through, and we're trying to maintain the grip in these tyres as we look a bit shaky there, with Sergio Perez now is going to take a look at us. He's going to get DRS. He is definitely fast this time round, and he looks to try and get past us, and I don't know if he's going to, but we are going to try and move to the side so he isn't, and we have holded our place in this Grand Prix. Verstappen is right behind Sergio Perez also. Wow, this is unfolding to be absolutely brilliant, and this is why I love it in all honesty. This has definitely been better battles with the AI this time round, as we are now wheel to wheel with Sergio Perez. We're going to try and outbrake him though, as we try and see if we can get past him. Not able to, he shuts off the gap, and Max Verstappen is now going to take a look. Sergio Perez once again goes through, and he's into P3 now. We slot into P4, lap 14 of 18. There's only 4 laps commencing in this Grand Prix as we look to complete the 14th lap going on to the 15th. Max Verstappen is going to take a look at us as we go wide onto the camber we go, and that's going to slow us down for sure, as I don't think we're going to get past Sergio Perez anymore, because look at the way he's just completely shot off. He is nowhere near us now. I think he's going to gain a second even on the DRS. I'm going to be lucky to even get DRS at this rate, as Verstappen is going to take a look at us at any point. We're going to try and battle as much as possible, but we're really slow. Really bad corners that we're having where we completely, the car is just throwing everything at us. and not able to go around the corner as smoothly as we would like. As we see Sergio Perez is completely gone, in all honesty. A second now splits it in the space of not even a lap. And Max Verstappen is now going to take a look. He's going to have DRS and he's right at the start. And goodbye Max Verstappen. I haven't got the pace to be able to compete with Max, unfortunately. And away he goes. And the lap 15 of 18 has not turned out to be the best whatsoever, as Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz are having a battle behind us, sorry. But they're going to take a look at us also if they've got the faster out. The two, Carlos Sainz is able to get past Norris as we now complete lap 15 of 18. We have gone lap 16 now, not long left whatsoever. Be interested to see if the Red Bulls are completely gone, or if we can stick with them. Verstappen 600th of a second, not really gaining much time on that DRS sector, but we have got a purple sector 1, so we are fast though. We still have got the pace, very weirdly. What a strange kind of time to have that in this lap. We are the fastest lap, don't get me wrong, but in lap 17 of 18, I wouldn't expect it from this set of tyres now. I've probably bald spotted them in some areas because how much I'm pushing this car. Max Verstappen is definitely becoming someone that I'm getting closer to now, actually. 300 of a second, so this is going to be interesting. We might have a final lap battle for P4. It's not going to be a podium, but it's another place above him. And it's going to be more points on the board also. We're going to get DRS on this straight, so this time will tell if we are able to kind of go past him. We are better at the end part of this track. Don't know if we're going to go late on the brakes though. We're going to, oh Jesus. We've been doing that plenty times this Grand Prix, and we are through on Max Verstappen, so that's going to be an interesting turn of events. Lap 17 of 18, going on to the final lap. A purple sector 1, red sector 2. I'm not too sure what it's going to end out as we cross the line. No fastest lap, a red sector. We're actually a second slower, but only a fast sector 1. We're not too fast though, because it's lap 18 of 18 and Verstappen looks a fair bit behind us, only half a second as of the moment. Don't get me wrong, he's going to get DRS on these straights also, so we are going to be vulnerable, as I don't think we're going to get much on Perez, but we've actually gained enough time on Perez also. I mean, if there was some more laps left, I'd like to see what the battle would have been, because if we had got the more consistent with the way that we was racing, then maybe, just maybe, we would have battled for the P3, but yeah, as I say, even on that bit though, as you can see, 1.8, so he is faster out of the two for sure. He's definitely faster. Max Verstappen's in the same engine though, as you can see. We are kind of getting the better of Max in some points, but he has got the faster vehicle overall, and you can tell that on some of the points of the circuit. 600th of a second behind us, so we are going to try and see if we can hold that position. We aren't as fast through the circuit on this bit of circuit, so it will be interesting to see where the time drops as we go through this sector of chicanes. 500, 400, we've lost 200, 300 per second, so he's actually going to gain some time now as a DRS, and yeah, I think I'm going to be pretty vulnerable on this straight. By Max Verstappen, yeah, through he goes. I mean, it's just one of those. It was going to be where he is faster out of the lot, and we're just not able to compete. But P5, as it looks to be, as we go over the checkered flag. Really, really good Grand Prix overall. I mean, what battles we've been having in this Grand Prix. It's been absolutely phenomenal, in all honesty. Really enjoyed it. Really felt like it's something that I liked in terms of, like, we battled with the other cars. And it was one of those where we couldn't stick with the position being P3 where we originally was in. But we have definitely done ourselves proud. A fastest lap also, so in no means slow. As we look at now, as we finish this Grand Prix in P5, Liam Lawson 21st. I'm going to have to look at possibly changing him, because I would like some more points in the Constructors. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near Ferrari, so we probably will stay in the same position even if I had a better teammate. But I feel like it would be a bit better if we get another teammate and we build for next season also. As we look at the standings now, we're still in 7th. We're still a little away from Carlos Sainz. About 30 odd points splits us and Sainz, and then obviously Charles Leclerc's on the same point, so we actually could leapfrog into 5th. Constructors were in 4th, who say are really well behind Ferrari. About 100 odd points splits us. Yeah, nowhere near them whatsoever. But a really good Grand Prix. I'm really proud of the team and the car. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more content just like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.